I know, man. Haven't made a video in a very, very long time. It's probably been like closer to 2 weeks. Just been busy. New work schedule. It's the summer, so videos are going to be a little slower now. But oh man, Across the Spider-Verse is probably my new favorite comic book movie, and it's easily now the newest best Spider-Man movie of all time. And the last movie that had that title was Into the Spider-Verse. So somehow Across the Spider-Verse is even better than the masterpiece Into the Spider-Verse was. This will be a non-spoiler review. I am very excited to talk about this. Cue the intro. Let's get into it.
Warning, the following video you are about to see comes from a geek and nerd who loves Marvel content and anime shows. Over here, we do not hold our tongue about anything and give you the most honest opinion about our chosen video topic. We do things that other content creators don't do. If you want someone like you to dissect said topic, subscribe and join other geeks in this space. While you are at it, leave a like on the video. Enjoy.
So, man, where to start? Like I said, it's gonna be hard for me to not give stuff away, non-spoilers. And this will be like, I'm just talking this from me to you, talking to y'all. I'm not doing any edits, no cuts, no anything like that. Across the Spider-Verse it felt like a real movie. It felt like a live action movie, and I say that because it had a lot of emotional aspects. It had a lot of human elements to it that made it seem like, man, these characters are sympathizing like real people. It tackled a lot of heavy elements and emotions that made you feel relatable. It made it feel like home. Gwen's story, and she gets a great story in this movie, and it's not to the point where it's like the movie's overshadowed. And in the MCU, they do things where it's like, okay, if it's a movie about someone, like for this instance, it's Miles Morales' movie. In the MCU, if it was someone else's movie and they include like a little bit of story of another character, that story is probably going to get a spinoff, and that's probably the only thing that it's being hyped up for. This is not the case with Gwen's story. Gwen's story is very, very, very detrimental and impactful to this movie and the next movie that will be coming up. Miles' family dynamic is very interesting, seeing as though we got the little hints of how their family works and Into the Spider-Verse, but I want to say it's leveled up and heightened even more. And Across the Spider-Verse, the mom is amazing, the dad is amazing, and we just see a lot of growth in the characters. Now, some time has passed since the last Into the Spider-Verse movie, and they've done some changing off screen, and it's there, man. It's there for everybody who has like the gripe of, okay, this is a cartoon movie, this is an animated movie. It doesn't feel that way at all. One of my major gripes for Into the Spider-Verse was the little glitches, and it was a little too dynamic and trying to be different with their art style. And this movie, it's even better than Into the Spider-Verse, but they also don't do it to where it's dialed down. They're not glitching every other minute. It's not to the point where it's like distracting. Everything fits, and how they use the art to display emotions, to display what characters are feeling, to display what you might be feeling. It works completely well. The villain of Spot. Now, seeing as the trailer, Spot has always been a villain who's kind of like a joke or not serious. But in this movie, he's not serious at first, but he's a character who he commands respect, bro. So Spot is a great villain. Don't go into this movie saying, oh man, Spot is the main villain. Spot is a great villain to have, and obviously, if you don't know, this is a 2-part movie. So Spot is a great villain to have for this movie and for the next one. And then you have a side villain in Miguel O'Hara. Miguel O'Hara, who was voiced by Oscar Isaac. If you don't know, he's the same dude who plays Moon Knight in the MCU. Miguel is a different Peter Parker, to where he's a lot more serious than the usual Spider-Man is. So with that being said, he has a lot of different emotions, a lot of different character traits that makes him stand out, that makes him a little more headstrong and head first with what he wants to accomplish. And Oscar Isaac does a great job of showing those emotions and showing those aspects and trying to display that character. The voice acting all across the board was great. Let's talk about the cameos. I'm not gonna tell y'all what the cameos are, but I will tell you that they are big, great cameos. And they're not cameos to where, a lot of people would know at home was like, oh, this is just fan service. The people are here. These cameos are important. These cameos are important. And you'll see in the movie. If you haven't watched it, or if you will watch it, you'll see in the movie. But these cameos are very important to this movie and the next movie. So, yeah, it's just great all across the board, man. It's great all across the board. It does cameos better than No Way Home. It does the multiverse aspect better than Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And the fight scenes, oh my goodness, the fight scenes are incredible. Just because when you can do stuff with animation that you can't do with live action. Some of the stuff they're pulling off in animation is stuff you can't do in live action because these are real people we talking about. So it was crazy, man. It was crazy. This movie really leaped for the stars, jumped for the stars, jumped for the moon. And every time they attempted to jump for it, they actually grasped it. It wasn't to where they're reaching. And it's like, okay, well, this is kind of boring. This doesn't make sense. No. In this movie, they did everything they wanted to accomplish and did it better than they probably hoped to accomplish it. It was great. I probably will rank this movie a 10 out of 10, man. It just did everything that needed to be done. And we'll get to the last part. Now, this video isn't going to be that long because I'm trying to just say, I'm probably going to do like a spoiler review if I have time later this weekend. But be aware. Like I said earlier, this is a 2-part movie. So this movie doesn't have the traditional ending a normal movie would because it's another part. Now, a movie that's kind of done this recently, as in recently, I mean like the last week, was Fast X. Fast X is the first of a 2-part movie. Now they're saying it might be the first of a trilogy. And it does it to where it leaves, it's a cliffhanger, but the cliffhanger in that is like, okay. It doesn't feel like a complete movie at all. This movie has some sort of closing, but you can tell it's not the end. And that's what a cliffhanger is supposed to do. No post-credit scenes in this movie. No post-credit scenes. So don't be an idiot and stay, and you're going to be looking stupid if you stay in there, thinking it's going to be something at the end. Soundtrack. The soundtrack is great, man. Coi Leray has one song on here. You'll catch it immediately. She has one song I haven't been able to stop listening to. It is so great. Metro Boomin did an amazing job producing this album, and I've listened to the whole soundtrack. Every song on that soundtrack conveys the emotions that the characters have, and does it great. So it's a great soundtrack. A lot of people say Guardians of the Galaxy has the best soundtrack. I like this soundtrack better than the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtracks, just because it's more my style. It's hip hop. It's a little bit of R&B. It's a little bit of pop. That's more my style. I'm not trying to hear 1960s white people songs. No offense, but that's not what I grew up on. And as far as representation, it's a lot of representation in here. Just from, you got a white character with Gwen, you got a black and a Latin character with Miles. Then you have the black dad, and you have a Latino mom. So the representation is there, but it's not forced. A lot of these movies now, they have the forced representation, and it kind of distracts you from the movie and what it's trying to do. But be aware, man. And going back to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, people were saying this is the best comic book trilogy of all time. This is the best trilogy. And I was telling y'all, hold y'all horses, because a movie is coming out that will possibly take that title away. Which I still don't think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is the best comic book trilogy of all time. But it definitely won't be after this. Because Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to be even more epic. If we're leveling up every time, man, I'm kind of sad because I'm hoping it doesn't just end with Beyond the Spider-Verse. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a great story. And like yesterday, I think some news broke that it's confirmed that a live action Miles Morales story is being in production. So maybe we'll be getting the same Miles Morales and he'll be transitioning from that into live action. Maybe that's what'll happen. But with that, I need Marvel and Sony to work on that. Because Sony, they can't handle live action Spider anything to save their life. They don't know how to do it right. Well, animation, good job. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. Y'all have a good day. Have a good weekend. See Across the Spider-Verse now. See it on the biggest theater you can. I saw it in the GTX theater, which made it even more immersive. But everybody, y'all have a good day. Y'all have a good weekend. I'll talk to y'all later. Yeah.